Therefore, you can only get the suspense element going by giving the audience information.
It looks really surreal. So now I thought I'll pick the top 5 routes of all the routes that I've made there, you know, kind of one thing from every grade, so that you, across my personal grade spectrum, of course, I can't speak for the 9A climbers and I can't really speak for the 6A climbers, if you know what I mean. But in my grade spectrum, I thought I'll pick 5 routes, the top 5 routes of Leonidio that I've made during the trip, which I definitely would recommend to anyone who has the level, you know, to try this one. So let's start at the easier side of things. First, we've got the Medusa extension. I think it's 7B in the guidebook, but I personally would give it a 7B+. It's pretty tough for the grade, I think. And it's just an amazing route. You know, I think it's a prolongation from a 6B or something. And it's about 40 meters, amazing moves on super thin, slopey tufas, very technical, you know, very vertical climbing, just amazing, you have to do it. The next in line, we've got Paraplanisi. It's just this amazing 7C+ of the Limeri sector. So the Limeri sector unfortunately didn't make it into my top 4, but it's yet another amazing sector. If you want to check it out, go for it, definitely worth a visit. And you've got there this Paraplanisi 7C+ route, really short, super power endurance on amazingly solid tufas, just amazing moves, really quick climbing, zack, 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 and then it's over, you know. So next we've got my favorite 8A, and that's a bit hard to decide because some of the best ones I had to downgrade because they were a little bit too soft for 8A, I think. A lot of them were actually 7C+. But from those who remained in the 8A category, I picked La Chèvre de Mr. Seguin, I think. La Chèvre de Mr. Seguin it's called, yeah. It's an amazing route of the La Maison de Chèvre sector. Short, easy climbing to the crux, then a boulder crux, amazing moves on, you know, little tufas and stuff like that. It's just amazing and really nice features as well on this route. So yeah, if you have the level, definitely try this one out. La Chèvre de Mr. Seguin in the La Maison de Chèvre sector, 8A. Probably a little bit on the soft side, but still 8A in my opinion. Moving on to my favorite 8B of the trip, What in the Twin Cave sector. What an amazing route indeed, man. Super steep, like 45 degrees or something. Power endurance climbing with finest moves on this arete, you know, with tufas, with slopers, with edges. You really got everything there. And then you've got a bad rest and this boulder crux to the top. And the boulder crux is also amazing to climb, you know. It's, yeah, just an amazing route. Again, probably a bit on the soft side. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to flash it, I guess. I think it's very soft for the grade, but it's still 8B. I think it does get disproportionately easier when you're a little bit above the grade, you know what I mean? Just an amazing line. If you have the level, definitely try this one out. And finally, I've got the route which I think for me personally was the hardest sand, was my hardest sand during the whole trip, and this was Popeye. It's yet another line of the Hada sector, and what an amazing line. You've got, I don't know, 10 meters of 7A, 7B climbing into a no-hand rest, and then you've got this really hard boulder to the top, and I think it's an 8-move boulder or something, and you have to be super precise on every move you do. And you really have to execute perfectly, you know, every heel hook has to sit perfectly, all the fingers have to hit the holes perfectly, you know, and what crazy moves. I mean, those hooks and those spans, it was a lot of fun to project this one. So if you have the level, if you have the boulder power as well, very bouldery route. I don't know, I think the boulder might be something like 7C plus or something like that. 7C boulder, 7C plus boulder, something in this direction. So if you have the boulder power, definitely give this one a try. It's just an amazing line. Man, what is this actually? I think I'm back in a second. I think that's a lot better. Alright. So now I want to ask some questions that I got during the trip. Like, for example, how long have I actually been there and how many routes did I climb in total? what's up with rest days, what's up with those fingerboard sessions and stuff. So I came up with some stats from my training diary, which I would like to present you now. So how long have I actually been there? A bit over 2 months, 69 days, so almost exactly 10 weeks. How many of these days were actual climbing days? I had 48 climbing, or at least training days, I would say, like where I did something, you know, either stretching or a few hangs on hangboard or stuff like that, you know, not necessarily climbing, but also climbing, that counts as well. And 21 complete rest days, which means that I did roughly 2 rest days for every 5 days of climbing or training. So that means that I did roughly 2 rest days per week, and that's pretty much the same that I do at home, you know, when I'm training. Another quite interesting thing is that I did 16 hangboard sessions during the whole trip, which means that I did roughly 1.6 hangboard sessions per week. And I did this to prevent the usual loss in finger strength that I've experienced so often when I'm on a longer route climbing trip. I wanted to prevent this time because it's so annoying when you come back from the route climbing trip, you're feeling super fit on the route, you know, and then you touch the 45er, the training wall again, and you feel super weak all of a sudden. I wanted to prevent this time. We will see in the upcoming fitness check if it worked or not. So how many routes did I climb in total actually? I don't know really how many routes I climbed in total, but what counts for me are the routes which are in the 8th grade, in the 8th French grade or harder. So everything that's 8A or harder basically. And I climbed 18 routes in that category, and that makes me really happy because one goal of this trip was to broaden my pyramid. You know, I wanted to get a lot of hard meters in. I didn't want to waste so much time in one special 8C project or stuff like that. I wanted to do a lot of hard stuff, a lot of 8Bs, a lot of 8B pluses, a lot of 8B pluses. Actually, the other goal was to send my first 8B plus on a trip. I did even 3 8B pluses, so I'm really happy about that as well. And then there are also other personal bests like my first 8B flash or my ever first ascent, which made me quite happy as well. So when it comes to climbing, I would say definitely the most successful trip that I had so far. I mean, it was also the longest trip that I had so far, but yeah, even with that in mind, it's a super successful trip and I'm really happy about this result. And by the way, in case you want to stay updated about all my outdoor ascents, you can check out my 8a.nu profile. I will leave a link down there in the description. Alright, all in all, I have the feeling that this was a really productive trip. I mean, not only in terms of climbing, you know, but also I read some books, I played the guitar more often, I learned the basics of Greek. I got 20 videos out on the channel about conditioning and, you know, outdoor ascents, some vlogs, and as a result the channel grew in, I think, roughly 5,000 subscribers over the time, and I think that makes me really happy because I'm quite aware that it's mostly the gym content, you know, that people would like to see, like one armor tutorials and stuff, but it's not very easy to do this stuff on a trip, you know. So I'm very happy that despite that the channel could grow so heavily, so to say, and yeah, that's awesome as well. And hell, I even wrote a book. It's gonna be amazing. It's an ebook about nutrition, you know. It basically contains my whole view on diet, health and weight loss and stuff like that, you know, in one little ebook. And I think I'm gonna release it when we reach the 20k subscriber milestone, because I still need to tweak and correct some stuff here and there. But yeah, I think that's gonna be fun. And yeah, finally I want to say, man, I met so many amazing people down there. It's really, this place is really an accumulation of interesting characters, and I met so many new friends, and I want to thank them all. I want to thank you guys for making this trip such an awesome experience. It wouldn't have been the same without you. I can only say thanks for making this trip such an awesome one. It was an amazing time, and I can't wait to return. I will return for sure. Alright, that being said, I think that's it for this review. I hope it didn't get too long. I think it got very long. I didn't script a lot, you know, I just made my notes, and when I talk freely in English, I'm not really a good free English talker, you know. I do a lot better when I script my stuff, but I want to make this authentic, you know, that you have the feeling, man, this guy, means what he says, and that's why I wanted to make it this way. I hope you've got something from it. If you plan to go to Leonidio, man, I can only say do it. It's an amazing place, amazing landscape, amazing people, amazing climbing. I hope you've got some information from this recap. Maybe now you're sure which sectors you want to visit, which ones you don't want to visit, who knows, which routes you want to try, which routes you don't want to try. And if you've got something from it, please leave some likes, leave some comments as always. And yeah, hopefully, I think that the spring is coming soon. Go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. It's important. Do some adventuring. Don't waste your time in the gym all the time. You definitely go outdoors here and there as well. And with this advice, I want to end this video. I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.